Hello everyone. So yesterday you might have heard me mention that, there's some of the best photographs for real estate in the world coming out of this little firm here, this real estate firm they're in Stockholm and Berlin and Dusseldorf, however you say that. Let's just drop into one of these firms they have and check it out. And these are really some of the nicest real estate pictures I've ever seen in my life. So we're going to jump in here and check one of these out. Why don't we just pick one at random? Why don't we go ahead and look at this one? So you'll notice as I scroll down just how kind of tight their compositions are, meaning they're not showing much ceiling. This is actually a really wide composition for them. It's really showing a lot. And I think what they're doing here is just, for me, it's just perfect. They're showing the whole room. They're not showing excessive ceiling, in my opinion, and yet as you look into the next photos, see they're moving in, so they give you an idea of what the whole room looks like. And then the next photo, we're seeing a little detail. And I mean, these photos are just so good. And I personally think what they do, this is just a guess, so take it with a grain of salt, but I think they totally gut these apartments. The person who's selling them says, okay, I want to sell my condo or whatever it is. I want you guys to have it and come in and market it for me. And they take everything out. That's what I think they do, because the styling is just too good. I think they have to be doing that. So they take everything out of the owners and then they bring their own stuff in. And that's why it looks so good. So they do all their own styling, and they probably come in here to the apartment or condo before, and they kind of decide, well, what's going to look best in here. They might keep little things like the bed frame or stuff like that, but I think they bring in all this stuff. They might keep a couple little things, but they have a stylist come in here and do all this, and they have some of the best stylists I've ever seen. I mean, I've literally looked at some of their photos when they have like these shelving units, and I've seriously never seen anything like it. Like, I just can't imagine. It's sort of unhumanly like how well they place the things in the frame. So yeah, that's how I think they do it. And as you can see, the result for me is just so, it's kind of like, we're going to talk about this later, but it's light years beyond what we're doing here in the States. I mean, it's literally so far ahead of us that it might be too far ahead. And we'll kind of talk about what I mean by that. If you look at some of these photos, see they're moving in even tighter. And you know what you get a lot here in the States? You get a lot of people saying, oh, we're not selling a flower pot. And it's just such, I mean, I guarantee you, if you go talk to the guy who owns this, if you traveled over there, and they're just going to tell you that this photography is just boosting their sales like crazy. When we're selling a home, we're really selling a feeling. And this stuff that they're doing right here, see, a real estate agent in the US wouldn't appreciate these photos right here at all. They might not even use them. And they're masterful, though. They're just beautiful. But if you were trying to translate this over to the US, it wouldn't really work. And I kind of have an analogy for this. Again, they're so far ahead of their time, I feel like it wouldn't be well received. You can maybe think of this like, if you went back and, in time, like 100 years or whatever, and there were cowboys around and you had like a pair of Ray-Bans and like a leather jacket or something, it might look horrible to them, right? You'd probably look like a Martian or something. They'd laugh at you, right? And so I kind of feel like that's what's going on here. These guys are so far ahead of their time that to copy them is almost a little bit, might produce results that you're not really looking for. Like, again, here they've kind of focused in on this area and we're getting these blurry edges. So they're using these longer focal lengths and they're opening up their aperture and getting, they're focusing in on one area, which I think really works in a lot of photos. I mean, look at that photo for a real estate photo. Any realtor in their right mind in the real United States would say that this is not, a marketable photo, but this is a very successful firm. They're spreading all over the place. And look at this photo they have. It's of cactus and a couple plants. And yes, it's really well done. And guess what? It's going to help sell these units for sure. And it's going to help just in general, just pump up their brand. I mean, this stuff is beautiful. And you can see how they handle some of the exteriors here. They usually handle the exteriors quite different, and I really appreciate that. These aren't so much different, I wouldn't say. I mean, I think they're very nice, but I notice a lot of times when they shoot a building, they'll kind of tilt up, and they'll kind of ignore the whole the rules we have about verticals a lot of times, which I really find quite charming and becoming. And I just think their photographers are really upper level, and they just let their creative juices flow, and it really shows in the photos. And so that's it, guys. Stop by their website. It's Fantastic Frank. You just have to type that into a Google search. It'll come right up. Check it out, get some inspiration, and it's just cannot hurt you. It's just beautiful photos, the best real estate photos in the world as far as I'm concerned. So I will see you next time, and I hope you enjoyed that.